Hello and welcome to News Now. I am Fidelia Aguncha. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has begun announcing the result of the presidential and National Assembly elections held on Saturday. The results are being announced by the returning election officers for various states at INEC Collation Center in Abuja. The All Progressives Congress is currently leading the polls, winning 4 out of 5 states. The party have secured victory in Ekiti, Osun, Nasarawa, and Kwara State, respectively.
Next is the APC. 219,231 votes. 219,231 votes. 219,231. 219,231 for APC.
PDP 154,032 154,032 154,032 154,032. The total valid votes for all the 16 local government areas in Ekiti, 381,132, 381,132, 381,132, 381,132. That's the total number of valid votes. The rejected votes, 12,577. Rejected votes, 12,577. 12577. So the total votes cast, 393,709. 393,709. And this has been signed by my own self as the coalition officer and endorsed by the agents of the AAC, APC, PDP, PPN. So we thank the chairman of INEC for the opportunity to start in this effort.
For APC 347,634. 347,634. PDP 377. Total valid votes 714,682. Total valid votes 714,682. Rejected votes 17200. 17200. Total votes cast 731,882.
Meanwhile, there has also been some good news for the People's Democratic Party's candidate Atiku Abubakar, who emerged victorious in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The opposition candidate polled a massive 259,997 votes against Muhammadu Buhari's 152,224 votes.
Total number of registered voters in the FCT is 1,335,015.
Accredited voters.
Accredited voters 467,784.
Valid votes.
Valid votes. Total valid votes are 423,951. Rejected votes 27,457. Total vote cast 451,408. APC 152,224. APC 152,224. PDP 259,997. PDP 259,997.
Well, as the election results continue to emerge, the United States of America is calling for peace and calm among Nigerians. In a statement released on Monday, U.S., while congratulating Nigerians in the conduct of the presidential and National Assembly elections, urged politicians to maintain peace and order while respecting electoral laws. The statement also noted that the polls were predominantly peaceful, which is proof of the commitment of Nigerians to choose their own leaders. It, however, condemned violence witnessed during the polls and urged all candidates to honor the peace accord signed earlier. Meanwhile, INEC has condemned attacks on election officials by thugs in some states during the conduct of the elections. Chairman of the electoral body, Mahmood Yakubu, during a press briefing, also confirmed the death of one of its officials who was hit by a stray bullet. Yakubu called for peace and calm across states as the election result begins to roll out.
We are similarly aware of the incidents of intimidation, abduction, hostage-taking, and violence unleashed on election officials in some states, notably Akwa Ibom, and the burning down of a vehicle conveying materials used for the election. Some youth corps members serving as adult staff were also attacked in Osun State. While in all these attacks, election staff sustained injuries, we have unfortunately recorded the first fatality in Rivers State. An ad hoc staff, Mrs. Ibisaki Amakri, was hit by a bullet while returning from election duty in Degema. May her soul rest in peace. We condemn these attacks and will forward a comprehensive report to the security agencies for expeditious investigation and prosecution of those involved.
In the same vein, the police have condemned attacks on its officers across states during the elections. In a statement released by police spokesperson Frank Mba, the Inspector General of Police Mohammed Adamu condemned attacks on 2 senior police officers in Bayelsa and Abia states. In the same vein, the police IG has ordered a thorough investigation by the Special Election Investigation Team on all security-related offenses during the elections. The force also announced that a total of 128 persons have been arrested across the country for various electoral offenses, while over 38 assorted weapons and a cache of explosives were recovered from the offenders. Adamu, however, commended the conduct of the elections, describing them as generally successful, notwithstanding the loss of lives recorded in some areas. INEC has declared as inconclusive Saturday's elections for Ogun East Senatorial District. The decision was announced by the returning officer for the district, Chris Nwoka, At the conclusion of collation of results from the 9 local government areas, the APC had a total of 84,929 votes, while the PDP polled 82,457 votes. But after receiving information that elections were cancelled in Ward 10 at Jibandele in the Ijebu East local government area of the state, Nwoka declared the election inconclusive. The Ondo South senatorial election also suffered the same fate, as it has been declared inconclusive by the Independent National Electoral Commission. The returning officer for the district, Kayode Onifade, emphasized that the cancellation of the election in 42 polling units due to some irregularities was the reason why the election was declared inconclusive in that region. And the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos State, Jimmy Agbaje, has condemned the electoral violence that trailed the presidential and National Assembly elections in some polling units in the state. Agbaje made this known while speaking to newsmen at the party's campaign office in Lagos on Monday.
First and foremost is to express our disappointment, extreme disappointment, and condemnation of the acts of violence that took place on Election Day, on Saturday, the 23rd of February, 2019. We had violence especially displayed in areas of PDP stronghold. And we're talking of the local governments of Oshodi Solo, we're talking of Surulere, we're talking of Ojo, and we're talking of other areas that were also affected. We condemn in the strongest terms these acts of violence. We are not going to accept that people's votes do not count in Lagos State. And that is a strict warning. Whatever it's going to take, we're going to put it. We will not accept results that have been tampered with in Lagos State. We will take it from the beginning, from the problems that started from the polling unit. The guidelines were very clear that after election, after counting of votes, election results are supposed to be pasted. We have no reports of election results being posted in Lagos State at our polling units. And that is the beginning, that was the beginning of the problem, where it was just not happening that you had our election results posted at the wall at the polling unit. Having said that, at the collation center, you had a lot of intimidation of our agents.
Well, Nigerians have been reacting to the just concluded voting process in the 2019 presidential and National Assembly elections held across the country on Saturday, February 23rd. In Lagos State, residents have been commending the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for a job well done.
Left to me, the election was okay. Like the security were tight. By this time yesterday, this same spot, you can't stand here feel this way. Like everywhere is calm, and I don't think there's any problem around where I stay here. Anybody that wins is okay by me. So it's just to make Nigeria okay.
One thing is that the election, to the best of my knowledge, have gone beyond the expectation of everybody. In the sense that many people, including myself, thought it's going to be brutal. But we thank God. It shows that God is in control of this country, because everything went the way people want. Even though there are some little problems here and there. But above all, INEC has really tried.
As a good citizen of this country, I exercise my constitutional right. I voted, and thank God I'm really in support of the outcome of the elections. I've been to 10 police stations before I finally get where I'm supposed to cast my vote. At the end of the day, the whole place was so peaceful. I waited till outcome of the result was counted. Virtually all the 3 polling booths for presidentials, senatorials, and representatives were all won by APC at where I cast my vote.
Well, in the senatorial race, outgoing governor of Ogun State, Ibikunle Amosun, has been declared winner of Ogun Central Senatorial District by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. In a result announced at the early hours of Monday, Amosun won with a margin of 51,009 votes as he had polled a total of 88,110 votes against the candidate with the second highest vote, which is Titi Osheni of ADC, who had 37,101 votes. It was the same fate for Senator Dino Melaye, who won the race for Kogi West Senatorial District, polling 85,395 votes to defeat Adeyemi, who scored 66,901 votes. Deputy Senate President and People's Democratic Party candidate is also retaining his seat for the fifth time, polling a total of 86,088 votes to defeat his closest opponent, Juliet Nwagu of the All Progressives Congress, who had a total of 15,187 votes. Meanwhile, Senate President Bukola Saraki lost his bid to return to the Senate for the third time. Saraki, who polled a total of 68,994 votes in the 4 local government areas of Kwara Central Senatorial District, lost to Oloregbe, who garnered 123,808 votes. While the collation of results from the presidential election continues, President Muhammadu Buhari have returned to the presidential villa in Abuja. The president is returning after spending days at his hometown in Daura, Katsina State, where he had gone to take part in the elections. Well, as Nigerians await the official result of the elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has warned the media against releasing unconfirmed data and information. Chairman of the Commission, Mahmood Yakubu, speaking at a news briefing in Abuja, also urged Nigerians to verify information before circulating them across social media.
I can only appeal to the social media to please be circumspect in the way we report, particularly the outcome of elections. I have seen some of the reports say one candidate has been declared winner, and then when you read it, they will say in his polling unit. So the position of the commission is that INEC as a commission does not support censorship. We don't support censorship. And we believe that the best antidote to fake news is more openness and transparency. And that is what we are doing through this medium, to explain and clarify and respond to your questions. But I can only appeal to those who operate at that level to please be extremely circumspect in the kind of information that they put forward. Recall what I told you earlier in one of our news briefings. You know, there was a screen headline, breaking news, INEC chairman has stepped down. And if you read the they say INEC chairman stepped down from his car to address.
Well, the election battle seems to have shifted from political parties to civil society groups and non-governmental organizations, as a new initiative for credible leadership has given the Youth Initiative for Advocacy, Growth and Advancement, YAGA, a 12-hour ultimatum to leave Nigeria. The new initiative for credible leadership is accusing YAGA of undermining the efforts of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, towards ensuring free and fair elections. The group says that YAGA has routinely condemned the ruling party and that they were unfairly backing the opposition party, that is the People's Democratic Party, with the support of foreign bodies. They are now urging YAGA to withdraw its advocacy from Nigeria.
Youth Initiative for Advocacy, Growth and Advancement, YAGA, Africa, Watching the Vote group on Sunday presented what it terms its own interim report on the general elections for the Presidential and National Assembly, in a development that did not come as a surprise because it was well known before now that the organization exists solely to deliver a hatchet job. YAGA ultimate delivery is to cast aspersion on the conduct of the elections, undermine its credibility, and nudge Nigerians closer to chaos. A secondary goal of this questionable group is to manufacture evidence against the security and military establishments in Nigeria so that they will be under pressure and unable to effectively curtail the violence that the opposition PDP is orchestrating to force its declaration as the winners of the poll. The new initiative for credible leadership will not stop at decrying the irresponsible activity of Yaga Africa, as the group has proven impervious to censors. It did nothing to correct its questionable way when they were earlier flagged as being at variance with the imperative for peace and credible leadership hereby demands that Yaga Africa, watching the vote group and the parent body, immediately pack out of Nigeria. The demand for Yaga in all its form move out of Nigeria must be complied with under the next 12 hours, failing which new initiative for credible leadership will lead a coalition of patriotic Nigerian group to physically enforce its expulsion from Nigeria.
Well, the National Rescue Movement, NRM, has condemned last Saturday's presidential and National Assembly elections in Zamfara State, describing it as a mockery of democracy. Gubernatorial candidate of the party, Mohammed Dansadao, showed journalists pictures and videos of voting malpractices the party obtained from different locations, accusing the state governor of working with INEC and security agencies to sway the wishes of the people. The NRM candidate also said all known electoral laws were violated during the poll. They are now calling on INEC to review the Zamfara case and do what is right.
Where AP is not a stronghold of APC, a team of thugs, some military personnel, the police, was arranged. Teams, not a team, teams in different parts of the state. They went to polling stations. The security agency will shoot in the air. Voters will run away for their dear life. And the thugs will beat INEC officials, seize the ballot box and the ballot papers and the other election materials that are available, and went away to an unknown destination. This has happened in Gusau metropolis, the state capital. And in some cases, if they know the polling unit is a stronghold of an opposition party to APC, they will smash the ballot box, burn the ballot papers that were cast, and all the remaining ballot papers.
Well, news now will continue in just a moment. Don't go away.
Corruption not in my country.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
My name is Alero. I am not sick. I just need you to help put your stamp on this medical report. I want to tender it at my office as a sick leave. I'll pay 10,000 naira.
Ma'am, that is impersonation. I'm not a doctor.
Oga, be like say this English no go pay. I go increase the money to 20,000 naira. I beg. You know, if I give you that 20,000, as you wide so, you know, if it still help your condition more. So, you know, say you spread well.
As I spread like virus, I mean.
You talk.
Come out! If person come your hospital, talk to make you give am fake medical report, make you go take collect sick leave. Talk and say no, na corruption. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Welcome back. Well, let's now join Annetta Felix for the latest in business. Hello, Annetta.
Hello, Fidelia.
So what's making headlines today in business?
Well, banks across Nigeria have linked 36.8 million bank accounts to the bank verification number BVN as of February 17, 2019, and that's according to the Interbank Settlement Scheme. Now, according to the NIBSS, active bank accounts stood at 71.9 million, meaning 51% of the total active numbers have been linked so far. In 2014, the Central Bank of Nigeria introduced BVN, a biometric identification, to address fraud, identity theft, and enhance the banking sector. Meanwhile, the CBN says it's planning to introduce a new mechanism called the Global Standing Instruction GSI that would work with the BVN of depositors to detect bad borrowers who refuse to pay their loans but plan to take another loan from other unsuspecting banks. Now, information revealed by the CBN shows that they plan to introduce this mechanism this year. And the CBN said the GSI would show the credit history of any debtor who planned to borrow from any bank and all Nigerian banks, and will be provided such information so that borrowers will be unable to get loans from a bank without first repaying all outstanding loans. So after this break, we'll be back to review the stock markets for today. Do stay with us. The Nigerian stock market has recovered from its losses during the pre-election period. Elections are now over, with results reeling in, and we can see the effect on the investor trading on the NSE today, leading to a bullish market, with the all-share index rising by 0.57%, and that's to close at 32,700.12 basis points, while the market cap ups by 12.194 trillion naira. Now, we see that the percentage gainers for today is led by the consumer goods sector, with Nigerian breweries actually making the most gains, and that's increasing by 4%. It's selling today at a share price of 83.2 naira, and this is its highest share price for the past 7 market days. Mobile, Dangote, Flour, and Nascon are also making our top gainers for today. We see that our top losers is led by the oil and gas sector. Total Nigeria PLC losing by -2.56%. Now, moving on, we see the market summary shows that 219,808 million shares were bought on the stock market today, and all this wrapped up at a value of over 5 billion naira, and that's in a total of almost 3,000 deals. Now, going to the global stock market, we see that global shares are seeing an uptick day. Financial Times and London Stock Exchange FTSE is closing up by 0.17%, and that's because mining company Glencore recorded the most gains of up to 1.5%. Now, moving on, we see that after the U.S. President Donald Trump announced a delay to the U.S.-China trade deadline, and that there had been substantial progress in trade talks over the weekend, the Dow barreled towards 150 points, and we should also expect to see the Dow rise over the coming days if the U.S.-China talks continue to be positive. We see that in Asia, Nikkei in Japan is also having a bullish market, with the all-share index appreciating by 0.48%. That's it from here, Fidelia.
Well, thank you so much, Annetta. We now move on to the foreign scene, where Ghana's former president, John Mahama, has called a landslide primary victory to become the opposition candidate in the West African country's 2020 elections. Mahama was the overwhelming favorite among 7 candidates, winning 95% of 213,487 votes cast on Saturday, making him the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress. Mahama was president from 2012 to 2016, when he lost a re-election bid to President Nana Akufo-Addo of the New Patriotic Party (NPP) over a faltering economy and corruption allegations. And to sports, Super Eagles defender Leon Balogun will miss Brighton and Hove Albion's away trip to Leicester City on Tuesday due to injury. The 30-year-old is yet to recover from a shoulder injury he suffered in training 2 weeks ago and has not been listed in the Seagulls' travelling squad to Leicester. Balogun was last in action on February 6 in his side's 3-1 FA Cup win over West Bromwich Albion and has missed 2 consecutive matches so far. The player who switched to the Premier League on a free transfer last summer has featured sparingly for Brighton this season with 8 league appearances so far, including 5 starts. And that is our news now. Thank you so much for watching. I am Fidelia Aguncha. Bye for now.